All right, let's get started. So learning Python is very easy, and we're going to do it step by step. And again, the idea of what I'm doing in this class to teach Python is not to replace a programming class that you might take to learn Python or some other language, but I'm going to give you a head start in a lot of different topics. So it's not the first time you see these. Okay. So the first thing is we're going to keep this really simple. All you need is a web browser, and we're going to go here. Okay, right here where it says programmers.com. That's the link. I just kind of zoomed in on it. Programmers.com. Now, those of you that are watching this live right now, don't go there right now. Okay, what I would do is watch the recording. Okay, or you can download, this document that will also help you that I showed you. This is the script that I will be using. All right, so we start here, programmers. Very nice, easy to use. We're going to scroll all the way down here. And I'm going to click right here. It says Python compiler, start coding in Python. Yeah, so I do not want you to follow along because you won't be able to keep up. I just want you to focus on what I am doing. Okay. All right, so I'm going to click on start coding in Python. Okay. And what it does is it takes me right here. And where are we? We're in a little Python online compiler. Really, it's an interpreter. We'll talk more about that at another time. But this makes it nice and easy to run Python code. We type in our code right here, click run, and the output will be right here. Let me show you. So what I'm going to do is highlight all that. I'm going to get rid of all that. And I'm going to type in our first Python command. We call these functions. Talk more about that. Called print. Print, and then I'm going to use a left parentheses. Now notice I'm going to click just on the left parentheses and look what it gave me. Let me make that a little bigger. It gave me a left and right parentheses. This is what we call an IDE, Integrated Development Environment. It's trying to help me out. It knows that I'm going to need a right parentheses as well. Now, what goes in this parentheses? Well, we're just going to have it print some text. Anything I put between these parentheses, but we have to do something. We have to do a quote, single quote or double quote. I'll talk more about that in a moment. I'm going to use a double quote. Notice when I did that, it gave me both double quotes. It says, Rick, you're going to need another one. And I'm going to just say, hello world. That seems to be the program that the first program we all write in any language. Now, I'm going to shrink this down a little bit. And I want you to notice a few things. I'll talk more about this. This is in blue. We'll look at that more in a moment. And all of this is in green. We'll understand this more in a moment, the colors. What is it trying to tell me? Well, basically, it's telling me this looks good. Let's see if it runs. I'm going to click run right here. And notice there it is. Hello world. Ah, our first program. Now I can clear this output by just clicking clear. I don't have to, but I can. And let's say I want to do some other print statements. So I'm going to type print. How are you? And notice that everything is in these double quotes. Print, left parentheses, right parentheses, and then in double quotes. I'm going to talk more about this in a moment. I am programming. Okay, so I have three print, we call these functions. Okay, and what print does is displays this to our output, our terminal, our screen. So I have three print commands. Let me go ahead and click run, and notice there we go. Yes, so the string or text is what is in between these double quotes. Okay. And I'm going to go through all of this in great detail. Not great detail, but enough. Okay. All right. Now, can I do a space here? Let me clear this. What if I put a space between the print and the parentheses? Is that okay? Well, first of all, notice nothing really changed. This is still blue. This is still black. This is still green. So it doesn't look like it's bothering the IDE. Well, let's try. Let's click run. That's the beauty of this. You're not sure? Give it a try. And it works. Now, typically, we don't put spaces here. You can, but really what the important thing is to be consistent. And if you're working as a programmer somewhere, your organization will typically have policies on what it likes to see with it, all of its programmers do for consistency. Okay, now let's take a look. Let's go back here. I'm going to delete those two. And I'm just going to click run here. You'll notice here, as soon as I click run, I get just the hello world. Now, what if I did this? I'm going to make this bigger here. What if this print wasn't lowercase, but uppercase? First of all, do you notice what happened to the color? It's black, isn't it? Maybe the IDE, the compiler, is trying to tell me something. It says, Rick, maybe I don't like this. Let's see. Let's click run. And look, it's giving me some kind of error. Trace back. Okay, I got an error. Where's this error? It's in line 1. This is line 1. Name error. Well, what's the error? It says, I don't understand print. Print is not defined. It means it doesn't understand it. So it has to be lowercase. Okay. Now, what we are learning is Python. Every language has its own rules and syntax. They do very similar things. Okay, so some things in different languages are very similar, but some things are a little bit different. Okay, now we just use, I'll clear this here. I just used, let me make this bigger here. I just used double quotes. Can I use single quotes? Let's see. What if I put a single quote there and a single quote there? Notice, by the way, look, when I had a double quote here, I got a single quote here and a double quote here. Look, it gives you this little red line there. I think it's trying to tell me something. But I have a single quote and a double quote. Let's take a look here. Let's see if it likes this. Run. It says, no, I don't know what's going on. You have a single quote here, and I'm kind of at some point expecting a single quote. It's kind of what this is all saying. So you can use single quotes. You just have to you have to be consistent. Either use single quotes or double quotes, one or the other. Let's use just single quotes. There we go. Now, which one should you use? First of all, you want to be consistent. Okay. And I'm going to talk more about, sometimes you want to use one, and then maybe you want to use the other one. And I'll talk about that more in a moment. But I do want to mention something. Okay. Yeah. Don't worry. Variables. If you already know Python, then we can talk later. Okay. So yeah, don't worry. We're not in variables and all that stuff yet. Okay. So by the way, so once again, if this is not new to you, you've done this stuff before, then we can talk later. But yeah, we'll get to variables later. Question?
Yes. What happens if you don't put any quotes?
Let's see. Let's see what happens. What if I don't put any quotes? So let me erase that quote. Let me erase that quote. So let me make that a little bigger. No quotes. Notice it's all black. We lost that green. Maybe it's trying to tell us something. Run. No, it doesn't understand this. So what is it expecting? Well, I can kind of understand this based on other things, but we haven't gotten to yet. But for now, no, if I want to print this text, it's got to be in single quotes or double quotes. Now, one of the things is that you can do let me clear this. Let me get rid of this. Is you can actually write your things in, like here I have a Word document. Okay. For example, I can copy, I wrote this in Word. And I can actually, oops, no, that's not going to work. Here we go. I'm going to take this and I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to paste it right here. So I can write it in a text editor and paste my commands in. Now, if I click run, there we go. Double quotes, print, that's all works. But here's one of the things you need to be careful of. In your text editor, do not use smart quotes. Okay, you'll have to Google whatever word processor, text editor you use. If you want to use it, you don't have to use it. You can do it right here. So you don't need to know this. But if you're going to do things in a text editor and you're copying and pasting into an IDE environment in Python, you have to make sure you use straight quotes. These are straight quotes. You can Google how to do that in your text editor. All right. What if I want to print a double quote? Maybe I want to print, Rick said hello, and I want to put hello in double quotes. I want those double quotes printed. Well, what I can do is use a single quote. Let me clear this here. Okay, so I've got a single quote here. And I can say, Rick said, and then in double quotes, hello. I'm just going to put a space there just so you can see. I have double quotes here. And that's fine. That'll get printed because I prefaced and appended. This is prepended and appended with single quotes. So let's run this. That's how I can print double quotes. What if I want to say Rick said hello in single quotes? Well, in that case, I need to make this a double quote and this a double quote. If I want to print single quotes, use my double quote at the beginning and the end of the string of text. Okay. Now, in this little document that I have on Canvas for you, okay, I have something we call a backslash, sometimes known as escape character sequence that we're going to look at. You're going to see some different possibilities. Let me show you one of these. Actually, I'm going to show you a few. But how are we doing so far? How are we doing? Everybody doing okay? Getting this so far? Thumbs up if you're getting this. All right, good. We're programming. This is always cool. All right, let me explain some other ways. And there's, you can do things different ways. Let's say I wanted to print, Rick said hello in double quotes, okay? But I'm going to use, let's see. How do I want to do this here? Yes. Well, another way of doing this. Okay. And by the way, if you're familiar with programming, you want to assess out of this, send me an email on Canvas email. And I will, if you've taken a programming class and know how to do a lot of this already or all of it, let me know. Okay. And I've got a way you can assess out of it. Okay. Some other things that we can do though. If I want to print Rick said, but I want to put in double quotes, but I want to use double quotes here as well. Here's a little trick. Just another way of doing the same thing. I can actually do backslash double quote. Look what happened. This turned blue. Okay. Rick said, hello. I'm going to show you this. And then we'll do backslash double quote. Let me clear this and run this. So if I'm using double quotes or single quotes, doesn't matter, but backslash double quote prints just a double quote, a different way of doing it. We're not going to get into all the different ways, but I just wanted to show you. I could also do backslash single quote if I want to make sure I'm only printing a single quote. So it doesn't matter what my quotes are. Doesn't matter what these are. If I do backslash and a quote, it will print whatever that quote is. Okay. But the other way that we did it is fine too. This is just another way. Again, every language has its own way of doing things. All right. What if I want to print a blank line after something? Okay, so, oops. But why quote is always used? Why is the quote, the double quote here always used or single quote? Because whatever I type in here, it says, I don't care what it is, print exactly what Rick has written. Now, that doesn't quite answer your question. We will see that we can put other things in this print statement, like numbers and calculations and variables, but we're not there yet. We'll talk about numbers next week. Okay. But that's what the double quote says. I don't care what it is, just print what's between these quotes. All right, let's say I do this here. I print, first line. Print, second line. Print, third line. Okay, let's run this and see what we get. Run, and I get first line, then I get a new line, second line, then I get a new line, another line. We call these line feeds. Okay. So somebody asked, why do we always use the quote? This is what Python, this is the rules and syntax that has been designated by Python. Yep. All right. So we have a line feed after each line. What if I want a blank line? Let's say before second line, give me a blank line. This is again where we get to that list. And here we have here, okay, of escape sequences. I'm going to show you another one. This is backslash. Let me go here. What if I put, and this goes between the between the quotes, backslash n. Look, it turned blue. You see that? It turned blue. Maybe it's trying to tell me something. Okay, so I have first line, backslash n. This is all between the double quotes. Second line, and then third line. Let's run it. Notice it gave me a new line and then printed second line. So that's how we can print a blank line. And I could do that here, or I could actually have done it up here before that double quote. Okay, in between. Same thing. It said, okay, I'm going to do a blank line and then a new line again. Okay. So it's how we can print blank lines. Okay. Let's do something else. What if I have a list of things? Okay. So let's say I want to print things Rick likes to do. And I did in double quotes. Okay. Be consistent here. Rick likes to surf. Print, double quotes. Rick likes to run, go jogging. Print. Rick likes to, years ago, he used to play a lot of soccer when I was younger. Still love to watch. Print, and I like to read. 4 things Rick likes to do. Just a little list. Just text. Doesn't mean that these things are accurate. No, it's what I typed in. Maybe I don't like to run, but it's what I have done. So when we run this, there. Rick likes to do these 4 things. But what if I want this output indented? Now, I could do, I could do spaces, but that's not very good. We don't want to count spaces. We got to space everything. We're going to do another escape sequence. \T for tab. \T for tab. Again, in between the double quotes, \T. And it's going to go before the first character in each print. So we put this \T right before the word for the very first character. Okay, let me run this. And look, we have it all nicely indented. Okay. All right. So these are just print statements. And all we've done, this is our first entry into programming. Python is a wonderful language to learn programming. It doesn't have a lot of rules. You're saying, wow, it seems to have a lot of rules to me. But compared to a lot of other languages, it's very easy to get started. Now, another thing I want to show you before we go. Let's say this is my first program. Oh, I really like this. Okay. Let's say that I want to document my first program. So when I look at this code, and this is very important as a programmer, and the company you work for, the organization you work for, will have policies on how to document programs. And a lot of times, a lot of the documentation is done within the program. For example, I want to document this program. The way I do it is I use a hashtag. See that? And whatever I print here will not be, is not a Python command. I can say, hey, this is my first program. I can put a blank line there if I want. Notice when I run this, this is a comment. None of this matters. If I run it, here we go. I could put, okay, I could put, I think I like this. Okay. Again, none of that, clear this, run it. None of it, this is shown. Now, maybe in our program, we do a comment like, this prints a list of, prints, I want to say a list. I want to, this prints activities. Why isn't Rick saying list? I'm going to talk about that another time. So it's actually a Python thing. A list means something specific in Python. This prints activities, Rick does. Okay. Again, we run it up. Now, see this here? Hey, we got it. What happened there? Sometimes this online compiler kind of does weird things. If you get something unexpected, run it again. There we go. I've seen that happen with this online compiler. But hey, this is nice. I really like programmers. We'll talk later about other options if you want to do those. Now, the other nice thing about comments is what happens if, you know what? I don't like to run anymore, but I want to keep that. So I'm going to comment that out. See, I commented that print statement out, but I want to keep it because maybe I want to use, I do want to enter it again later. So let me clear this and let me run this. And notice we have our list of activities, but not with run. So sometimes it's nice when you're coding, programming, and you want to try different things, and you can actually comment out without erasing, deleting this statement. I want to keep it for later use until I'm sure I want to delete it, because I may want to bring it back. And how do I do that? Get rid of that hashtag. Run it, and there we go. How are we doing? Kind of cool? Everybody good? All right. Now, this is all you need in this class. This programmers, and that's it. If you want to get kind of more involved, if you want to look at other integrated developing environments, IDE, besides this web-based programmers. Okay, first of all, you need to make sure you have Python downloaded on your computer. And by the way, we're using version 3.7. Whoops. 3.7 or no, 3.10. But you need to have at least 3.7. Get the latest. Let me show you how you get the latest. Oops, let me come here. All right. There we go. To download Python, you go to python.org. Python.org. Here, you click on downloads, and it already knows I have a Mac. And here's the latest version, 3.10.6. But if you click on downloads, you'll see it for Windows. You'll see it for Linux and Unix. You'll see it for Mac OS. Then, if you want, there's some videos here, and you can just YouTube it. If you're interested in installing Python on Windows 10, just YouTube install Python on Windows 10. The same thing for Mac. Install Python on Mac. And there's actually, Python includes something called its own integrated developer environment. I'll demonstrate that later, another time, because all we need to get started is good old programmers. This is all you need, period, for this class. Okay, that's all you need. Now remember, try things. And all right,